grind. Niggas are grinding for hours, I hear. Need me the figures, straight to the top. This bitches and 9 to figures. I get the cheese with the gang. I made the major league with the gang. I made a podcast with the gang. Back on the 9-5 with the gang. I made the top 5 for the slaps. Trying to be top class with the stats. I couldn't make much in the past. I'm from the ground floor, pay respect. My heavy trucks getting more props. Body bagging what I'm known for. Whole gang from the ground floor. Do the most out in cap dog. West side, top G's. More grind, more G's. Pay homage to my driving G's. Got the whole game getting coffee.
Right. What's up, everybody? My name is Jay Tillitwall, and welcome to it. Another edition of our podcast 2. What's up, gents?
It's a.
No, I was trying to hear if I can hear you without my headsets.
Oh, I'm struggling to hear everyone because it's a low.
So when I was you must do for how you understand not naga what's up people, it's authentic 95 rapper. It's okay. Hello Belinda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm so good I forgot that Rooks was supposed to introduce himself to me.
I remember that.
But you don't matter
anymore. Like we established that we don't need you anymore.
So, the thing is you missed the last episode, that's why.
Okay, am I in court, Kazu?
No, you're not in court. I get us for pride. What kind of pride is about? Actually, it's like about the pride. What does it mean for you? As from a wait. First of all, like a structure of
yes.
What does that mean?
Okay, basically an ally is a cisgender person who stands for the rights of the LGBTQI community. We fight against transphobia, homophobia, and any discrimination against the queer community. So that's basically what an ally is.
Follow up on it. Like our podcast, ne? Even hood niggas listen to us, like Mutaokas. Some are not as informed as us, some are not as informed as you.
Okay.
So if you can like break down for what is cisgender,
okay,
what is an ally, or whenever it's fellow gay.
So yeah, typical me. Yo, tag us.
A typical guy.
Gay, lesbian. That's it.
So for us, we've accepted gay people, we've accepted the community. But there's someone out there who wants to, but some of these terms. What's his gender? What transgender? Like, maybe you can just like summarize, make it easy for a hood nigga to get you.
Okay, a cisgender person, a straight person. So I am a straight person, meaning that I am attracted to the opposite sex. So that's a cisgender person. As a man, you are attracted to the opposite sex, which is woman. Yeah, so that's cisgender. And then when we talk about the gay community, we fell out with gays in a sense of a guy who's attracted to other men. We talk of lesbians, intersex, transgender. A transgender person is basically a person who identifies as a woman, not like, let's say for example you were born a man, but you do not identify with your genitals. You are a woman, but yet you have female genitalia. So you identify as a woman and not a man. So that's what transgender is. And then bisexual, you are attracted to more than one gender.
Are you educated, Rooks? Because I knew that.
Huh?
I knew that. So
no, I knew that. I'm doing it for.
Oh, you're doing it for that.
I didn't know.
Sometimes these people must go read, man.
I didn't know about this.
Serious. I'm talking to you, hood.
Yeah, me. I'm a hood guy. I didn't know about. I've been ignorant all my life. You understand? All I knew was gay, lesbian,
Okay.
and stay. That's it. I don't know anything else. Right. I had a whole lot of questions, but I'm gonna.
So the boot can do how? help the people of you.
By the way, Reco Pride, guys. I don't think we introduced that.
I did. You were not listening to
I
me.
wasn't listening.
No. So,
Yeah.
what made you decide to be an ally? Like, is there someone close?
I didn't decide to be an ally.
Yeah.
Well, for me, actually, I didn't decide to be an ally because I've always been exposed to the LGBTI community
Yeah.
from a very early age. So I've always been a person who is open-minded. I've always tried to educate myself about these things. You know, why is this person this way? Why is this man so feminine? And why is this man attracted to other men? So I've always been that type of a person.
Yeah.
So I say by default, that's how I became an ally.
Kore, I think maybe my question, like, there's acceptance and there's speaking for. What, ne?
Oh,
so I'm
okay,
accepting,
I get you.
but I have not taken a decision.
You're not
to
an
speak
ally,
for.
okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I want to know what made you decide to speak for.
What made me decide to speak for was actually Lepower because he's more like my little brother. So I realized how rejected he was by people who don't understand who he is.
Wait,
You know.
I think, sorry, I don't think he was rejected. Have you ever? I don't think.
Let her finish the story and then.
He wasn't rejected.
How do you know? Because
How do you
met
Because we spoke to him the other day. He
Maybe-
was like, he felt you always been in the hood. He's
I
always
get it,
there.
but he
In
must
different spaces, he might have been accepted
Yeah.
in the
That's the
hood.
thing. That's the
But
thing.
in the spaces that we were exposed to, let's say for example, we grew up in church. Nalele Power, we were tied from church. So again, they rejected this side of him. They separated him being gay and then they thought, okay, there's a side of him being straight and then there's this side of him being gay that needs to be prayed away. So the rejection, that's where I'm taking it from the church space, because that is where we grew up. That is where we spend 80% of our time. So for me, that is when I decided that I want to speak for this community. I want to be part of the community, because I feel when you reject the power or discriminate him or any other person within the community, you discriminate me as well. So whenever I talk about the LGBTI community, I include myself there. Yeah, that's how deep it is.
Yeah, no. You've been answered. You know, also I was Negebatore. You see, when you have the power on a podcast for an hour, that's not enough time for him to tell you everything about him.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so in fact we wanted to go on that podcast because it was not enough time.
Yeah.
So she's known him for like ever. And maybe some of the stories not comfortable to share. So
Marwena is an ally. Marwena is an ally. Obviously, as a gay person, or a lesbian or a transgender, they have their own challenges.
Yeah.
I'm sure as an ally, Lorena, you face some pushback, either from family or friends. Can we get like experience? Because some people, for example, maybe I want to be an ally tomorrow, but I want to be prepared for this already. What sort of pushback am I going to get and how to deal with it? Because we want to support this community. That's why I relay for So
No,
can we help?
yeah, I did get rejected. I did get discriminated against, especially, like I said, we grew up cooking again, so most of our time it was spent there. So I also got that rejection. Why are you standing for these people? Why are you standing for such demonic things? So I was also labeled as someone who's actually for this community that is supposedly demonic, or it should be rejected, they should be demonized and all that. So I also faced some rejection, and again I think people also felt that maybe I am bi, or maybe I'm confused, I don't know, maybe I do belong to the community.
Are you?
No.
she said she's cis
No.
from the beginning.
No, I'm not.
The last part I can relate to. You know what he said. So on like our podcast is as balanced as it can be. Ne? We had like horrendous combination. So it's also because we attract like different people. So I'm a rapper. Ne? Can you imagine what the rappers are going to say when I was at Pride? It's just that I don't give a fuck. I'm that type of rapper. So I can relate with that last part. Hey, what is authentic to me?
Sure.
I'm first time. So I can relate to
Are you
that.
ready for that?
For what?
What is authentic doing?
We had the power on the show. If it's not obvious by now, I'm supporting the power. God damn it.
How did you deal with it? Like with this young, how did you cope with that?
I didn't mind because you know when you get into something knowing that this is what you're gonna get, I knew I was gonna get rejected. I knew that some people were gonna have comments, so I knew what I was getting myself into. So I really didn't mind it. It really didn't affect me because I believe if it affected me, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be here now.
All right.
How are you able to? Rooks was asking a question. I thought it was going to go this way. Ne? So you are straight and you advocate for people you don't necessarily understand it's like if a white person is talking about black rights, you understand what I'm saying? You cannot possibly, like, how do you get the relation? Like how do you find the connection?
I think, like I said before, when I include myself within them, you know, I educate myself. I read a lot. I'm a writer, so I read, I research. I want to understand why is this person saying that she's a woman and identifies as a woman, yet this person was born a man. So I always put myself in their shoes to say, okay, if it was me, how would I be like? How would I react to this? How would I respond? And how would I carry myself? So I always put myself within what they're facing. So it's much easier that way.
How often are you a shoulder to cry on because of ignorance of people that don't understand?
Yeah.
That one is a difficult one. People, I think at this point, there are certain people who choose not to understand. So, I try to be understanding. Okay, this person doesn't want to understand, but I want to make this person understand. So sometimes I just leave as it is. If you don't want to understand, I've come with the material. I'm educating you. I am advocating for this, and this is who I am. This is what I stand for. If you don't understand, I cannot push further than that.
What is it that you're trying to accomplish at the end of the day? What's the promised land for you? Let's say at the end of the day, you say, I did this.
As an ally, ne?
As an ally, yes. I did this.
Changing one mindset towards this community. That's for me. That is because I feel if you don't know anything about the LGBTI community and I change your mindset, you can change 2 or 3 mindsets in the future. So for me, changing just one person, not necessarily changing, but trying to make this person understand that this is what this community is about, for them to fully understand and to say, okay, no, I get it. Okay, for me, that's what I want to achieve.
I always I more of then this is just me. Like I take everything and everyone at face value, né? So like for pride. I probably don't like everybody here except the people I like. You understand? It doesn't matter if it's pride. If I don't click with you, like so basically the question I'm trying to go to is like, would you ally for even the people who are assholes in the community? Like you just a horrible person, but I'm an ally. Like, would you ally for that still?
I don't know about that one.
Because like that's my thing. Like I don't if I don't like a person, I don't like you. Like no, it's a you and I problem.
That's an issue though. That's not a nice thing.
No, but it happens. Like let's say that should not change your view of men, right? You should hate me.
No, okay, fine, yeah. Mara, still I just feel like that is not like that is
yeah, I feel
because we are humans, we live amongst each other, but if you don't like me, then maybe you need to be on your space and my space, and we're not getting to each other's spaces, and that is highly impossible.
Can I really issue people?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much for having a chat with us.
Thank you for having me.
I learned a lot. I know what an ally is.
What a cisgender is.
Yeah, no, and
Cisgender gang.
don't tell us
Cisgender.
cisgender.
I'm a cisgender.
Yes.
I'm a cisgender. I thought I was, I don't know.
Just straight.
I was straight. I'm cisgender.
I wonder why do they call it straight? Why do they call us straight?
Exactly, because now
Straight. How?
Oh, that's where it comes from.
Mara, that is not a nice thing,
Yeah,
because
listen to Rooks what they say. Straight means how out
exactly.
Yeah.
So these other ones,
That's what I'm
they
Motherfucker.
already are bended somehow.
That's
I
why,
didn't
that's,
know
why,
it.
that's why Batile with a different term for it.
Exactly, we
because
are cisgender,
But
we are not
the
straight.
original term was sort of offensive.
Yeah.
I'm cisgender
So,
from here.
rebrandile.
Rebrand.
Actually, who started calling us straight?
No one
Is it the
knows.
community or is it the street people that call themselves
It's
straight?
the street people.
The street people that call themselves
How do
straight.
you even know that you're straight?
I don't know.
Alright. Thank you very much for chatting with us.
Thank you guys
We
for
really
having me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Re tlhoka ho tsa breather re lebella batho re ba
Ba tlo
appreciate.
jive.
Velila, you've been awesome. Wait. Kore I don't ungaphela umoya son. Ne, keep fighting for the voiceless.
Yeah.
Would you know what, right? I would like to have you like published.
Oh, nice.
Plug that.
your
Plug that.
book. Plug
Plug
your
that
book.
book.
Plug your
Let's
book.
plug the book.
What is the name? Where can we find it?
The name of the book is called Our Battles Come With the Hustle. I wrote it with my partner, and it's basically about
Straight,
our...
cisgender partner.
Yes.
You trying to shoot your shot?
So we wrote the book. It's about our love journey, how we met, our challenges, and how we view life as individuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get it go Rustenburg Mall Galut bookshop.
What's the name again?
Our Battles Come With the Hustle.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How much is it?
It's 150.
I'm gonna get it.
We're gonna get it, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get it.
Even if it means $50, you read
Yeah, get it, guys.
Let's get it. Our next
Interesting
pod,
book.
our next podcast episode, we're gonna put it on the table.
All right.
There, promise. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sharp up.
Alright.
Yeah. We even went a bit longer. Really no coolie blind. How you guys feeling
That
so
was
far?
dope.
That was dope, bro. That was very dope.
Ah man.
Zai team marwana bila ne. Orata mo davaza mfana.
I got all LGBTQ plus go driver.
The whole time.
I'm gonna get the second guest.
Yeah, sharp.
All right,
The whole
cool.
time you trying to shoot your shot. Roots, how you feeling? Look at people, bro. Why don't I like this? Come on, Temo, come on.
Oh, TMG.
Yeah, the whole time, like people have things where they celebrate their freedom. Yeah, I think all people should, all communities basically should start doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how are you, bro?
Nah, I give me not.
How have you been?
I got a while off. We have our second and third guests at the same time. Double the trouble. I can't reintroduce myself, but I would maybe making a sin if I don't introduce my guests. So for the people who are watching, introduce yourself beyond your name. I already know your name, Virginia. What does Virginia do? Why is Virginia on this chair? What message does she want to talk about? And then that's what I feel like I'm going to start.
My name is Virginia Magwaza.
Thank you. So yeah, mic on. Yeah,
One.
sharp.
My name is Virginia Magwaza. I'm a feminist and a human rights activist from Soweto. I am an activist involved with the Forum for the Empowerment of Women, which organizes Soweto Pride. I'm also a founder of an organization called Parents, Families and Friends of South African Queer.
Thank you, sisters. Check the mic if it's on, Luenane.
Pardon?
Mic, check. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Tabiso Wakaleo. I'm a registered nurse by profession, which a lot of people don't know that. And I'm mostly known for the events that I host under Six Band Events. And I'm also one of the founding members of an organization called Queerwell, which offers mental health care services to the LGBTI plus community. Yes.
Did you say mental health services?
Mental health
Oh,
services,
okay.
yes. So we provide access to free mental health services to the LGBTI plus community.
You're also from Soweto.
Yes, born and raised in Soweto.
We thank you guys for the visit. Even though we are visiting you guys, but thank you for coming to Rustenburg.
It's hot here.
You can't even get used to the temperature, even if you are born from here. It's too much.
Yeah, no, it's not windy like in Joburg.
You know, after you guys introduced yourselves, you kind of made me feel like I'm not doing enough with my life.
Me, I'm old. How old are you?
I'm 31.
I have a 34-year-old daughter.
So I still have time. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
Thank you. That's very consoling.
No.
I don't want to know your age because then maybe you are my age and then you're going to make me feel bad again. So we asked our previous guest, Belinda, what does pride mean for you guys? And what do you want it to mean for somebody who's out there that's ignorant and does not even know what pride is?
Because there are a lot of those.
Okay. For me, Pride is a platform where, as LGBTIQ+, we demand visibility. We demand acknowledgement and recognition. And it is the time where we should be using to teach the world about the fact that we exist and we are not going anywhere. Because we live in different communities where, even though we are in South Africa and we know that the law protects our existence, however, we know that there's a huge gap between the law and the attitudes and perceptions of people around LGBTIQ+ people. And therefore, Pride should also be a space where we teach the people we live with, our families, our friends, our peers, that you are not the only lesbian, and it's not about that it's a lifestyle, but there are people who are LGBTIQ+, and they need to be recognized.
Sure.
And in some of the communities, we know that people cannot have pride, right? But at least in South Africa, we can all have pride. It depends how we want to do it. But in other countries, for me, because I'm a very political animal, therefore, whenever I come to Pride, it's always for me to think about the privilege that I have, that I can be at Pride, because people in Zimbabwe, people in Zambia, people in Uganda cannot have Pride. And therefore, this is the history that I want to make for them to learn that when the time comes when they have Pride, they know that people like them live the way we live.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
The second part, I understand that's you, ne? So let's address the ignorant person. And for me, it's important to address the ignorant person because I'm a rapper, so I know how people in my world think. So by me coming here, for example, there's a huge so to encourage those people, no, come see for yourself. You know, like I want to hear, like, what do you think Pride should mean for them? Like at this point, before they come here, because I know if they come here, then they will form their own thought. But looking out from the outside,
I think, as I said, that it should be a space for them, firstly, to appreciate the existence of the LGBTIQ+. And secondly, where I am involved in organizing Pride, I make it a point that people leave that space after they've learned something, right? It does not only become just a party, right? But for instance, the last Soweto Pride, with my organization, the Parents and Families of South African Queers, we organize parents who are accepting of their children. And they were standing there and with their placards saying, I'm a mother of a lesbian and I'm proud to be
That's
one.
dope. Yeah.
Or I'm or a daughter of a lesbian. My mother is lesbian, or I have two moms, and my family is just like any other family, because we know that even though we have a good law in South Africa that protects our rights, however, our families are still not being taken as serious as they're supposed to be taken. We have the Civil Unions Act, which allows us to marry, but still we are still contesting the content of the act itself, because it does not give us the same rights as those who are married under the Marriages Act.
Are you married? Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Okay, follow-up question. Why are you not married? If you're fighting for a certain movement and you're not married, and it just makes the fight a little futile.
But for you to marry, you must have someone to marry.
I think that's a bit.
That's why you're not married.
I think that's a bit obvious, because I mean it's like saying, why are you at a party if you don't drink?
Yes.
You know, there's more to.
And I'm here and I don't drink.
You don't drink?
No, I don't drink. I don't drink.
Why do I say that like it's a bad thing?
He posed the question and as if she has. It's like saying to someone, you know, it's a popular question to psychologists and counselors when they ask them, Uguti, you are so young, you don't know life. How can you teach me about life?
Yes.
And then you're like, but I'm trained, I'm experienced, I know what is right.
Exactly.
So she doesn't have to be married to speak for them.
As I said earlier when I introduced myself, I'm a human rights activist. I even stand for the rights of the people, of the things that I don't need or that I don't want to access. For instance, I fight for people who don't have housing, and I have a house. I fight for people who don't have access to education, and I'm educated.
Okay, you know, one thing that we always preach about, what we preach in this podcast is mental health, especially for activists. Now, what does that do to your mental health? While you're fighting for people and things that you don't need, what does it do for your mental health? How do you?
So in my political learning is that I have to be an intersectional person. Intersectionality means as much as I am lesbian, I'm also black. As much as I'm a lesbian, I'm also a woman. I'm a mother. I'm an employee, right? So I cannot, and I always link that to the famous quote, which one of our legends, Simon Coley, said that I am black and I'm gay. I'm gay and I'm HIV positive, and I cannot separate my struggles into primary and secondary struggles. So, despite the fact that I have housing, but the people who don't have housing are black people, and I have to be in solidarity with them. And that's the politics that I aspire to. Because if you're a feminist, you always say the personal is political.
I think how Tsana can you hear Tswana? I always assume everybody can hear Tswana. I don't know why. So the mental health thing for us is like when you fight for everybody else, when is it time for you to say fight? Yo.
No, it depends how you do it. It depends how you do it. When I say I fight, it's not that I'm always out there fighting. But when I walk on the street and there are people demonstrating because they don't have housing, I join that demonstration. And because I'm a lawyer by profession, when someone says they're kicking me out of the house, I take that case. It's not that I'm always there, right? But what I'm saying is that I will never leave my black person on the streets needing and crying because I'm saying, nake lesbian, no, I don't operate like that.
So as a nurse, I want to ask you I'm sure because ignorant people again, I'll always go back to ignorant people. I'm sure there's cases where let me say like things like corrective rape, and then you have to do your job as a nurse.
Ouch, we don't use that term.
Correct me.
The term corrective rape was the term that was used by the media and it was made popular by the media. And the problem with it is that
There was something wrong.
it is instilling in people's minds that there's something wrong that needs to be
Okay, I get
corrected
it.
by a lesbian.
We just made the same point about calling straight people straight because
Yes.
it assumes the other people are not straight.
Yes.
Yeah, so I get it now. So what do I call it? Rape, ne?
It's just rape.
It's just rape. If you know the reasons are reasons you identify with, is it difficult to do your job in that space? Somebody gets raped because they are lesbian and you are at your job that time. Is that like, how do you handle that type of situation?
Well, with the job, you have to be professional at the end of the day. So, and also another thing is that you can't really separate your emotions that much. But at the end of the day, you have to get the job done. I know there's been instances whereby you are sitting on I work in theater, basically in surgery, and we also do like forensic procedures whereby you're doing the swabbing after rape or after sexual abuse. So you have to do the swabbing and stuff, and you find that you're looking at probably like a 10-year-old or young female, and you're doing that procedure, and you can't help but look at it and think that there's humans who are able to do such to somebody else out there. But at the same time, you have to just maintain and do your work and get the procedure done to your best of your ability. We do find ourselves crying in the dark, behind our goggles, behind our mask, we do cry because some of the cases are really like quite traumatic. If you have to get like a 3-month-old baby that has been raped and the organs are lying all over the place, before it even touches you as an incident, it touches you as, how can a person do such to a child? So it's not even linked to sexuality now. It's just also just linked to the fact that how can another human being do this to another human? Yeah. So, and we work with these things. It's not easy. It's quite tough.
And we do get depressed.
And when we do, we take it home sometimes. You get home and you're like, the kind of day that I've had. And also sometimes it makes you reflect on your own life to say, sure. So it's quite hard.
Well, like now, Rawana, when you said we do get depressed, so I have vowed to make my life about bigging up the people that fight for other people. So every time you get depressed, I want to say, remember there's someone like me that say, you can take 1 second and go back in. We appreciate you guys. You
so
understand?
much.
Somebody must always remind you guys, because when you fight for people, people forget that you also need some juice nyana sometime to say, keep doing what you're doing. We had a guy on the last podcast, and he doesn't know me, but he's helped me. But he doesn't know me like that. When I was like, you did something on Facebook, and at the time it was a very dark place in my life, but it helped me. So I want to tell you, it might be gloomy now, but you are helping some people. Some people, they will never get to tell you because you'll never meet them. Some people will watch this podcast, and I was not able. I was Virginia really.
It's really difficult not to feel it, because we do quite well with mental illness and consultations. One of the common cases that we get within our LGBTI community is rape. Person will report that I've been gang raped. I was with my friends and I was raped. My partner and I went home and we were raped. And when you look at that, you're like, I'm lesbian too. It could happen to me, and then you get the extensivity of the case when you start realizing, okay, I was raped. It didn't end there. Now I'm suffering from this since I was raped. So, and now you have to take this person through this journey to say, okay, we understand that you've been here. Now we need to get you to a place whereby you feel much better, much safer, and healed. It's really a process and it's painful.
Yeah, and another issue that's not usually spoken about is the number of suicide cases that we have in the LGBTIQ+.
I was going to ask about that actually.
So, and it comes in different forms. If you are rejected by your family, and then you don't have anywhere to go, it's either you become homeless, and there's no study that shows how many of our queer people are homeless. I remember reading about it in the US. There's already a home specifically for young LGBTIQ plus who are kicked out from home because of their parents' lack of acceptance. And then some, they get into these transactional relationships where I'm in a relationship with you precisely because you can offer me a place to stay. And in those relationships, there are also high possibilities of HIV infections because the person who has money can tell you, Uguti, I want a condom or no condom, right? And because they pay for your life, then you don't have a say. And then you have those who either rejected because by their parents or bullied at school, right? Because of who they are. So then they kill themselves. And when the person dies because of those causes, no one actually records that this person was going through this. And so we don't have any statistics of how many of our queer people are being killed because of those ills that they are faced with.
Okay, I want to have like a little suggestion, right? When you're fighting for rights and everything else for the LGBTIQ plus, why don't you also fight for the stigma? Educate people. You know the stigma that every gay person is gay. I mean, is HIV positive. Why don't you educate safe sex for them? Or is it a case where, I don't know, they get raped or something? I don't know. So why can't you have
we do have organizations that work on HIV and HIV education for LGBTIQ plus, even sex workers. But not every person that has HIV has been reckless. As you say, most people get HIV because they were raped, and they are not raped because they were in a gay relationship. Some were raped by their parents, their fathers. So it's not. I think we need to be careful with that language because then it perpetuates the stigma that says LGBTIQ plus or gay people are sick.
But it's always
HIV is a community problem.
Yes.
It's not just an LGBTI problem.
Yes.
It's a worldwide problem. You know, it affects everyone, whether you're straight, gay, lesbian. It affects you.
Yes, and even straight, even the so-called straight people also are reckless.
But what he's trying to say is that's the situation right now, and it's always been like that. So what do you do to counter that? Just like we are dealing with fake news.
You know, also what do you need to understand? What do you need to understand? LGBTIQ plus people fall under this categorization of minority groups, right?
Sure.
So if you are a minority, all eyes are on you, and your mistakes are big, right?
Yeah.
Even though we know, I have friends who are not homosexuals. They are reckless, and they'll wake up in the morning and say, "Yeah, now I slept with this girl."
Mm-hmm.
It's not only gay people.
True.
You know.
True.
Yes, there are processes and programs for queer people to learn about HIV and be educated so that they can deal with stigma. But we cannot focus our energies on trying to change people's minds on how they think about us, right?
Sure.
We only can give energy to people that are willing to understand who we are and understand that we are human, and therefore, as much as they are entitled to human rights, we are also entitled to human rights too.
Word. Can I go on a lighter note?
Yeah.
It's a light but heavy, but
Because
heavy and light too.
you know,
Bring it on.
when we started, you said this is both a moment of joy and also, so let's be happy a bit. Yeah.
Can you guys take a joke?
Yeah.
Like as a community?
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are hypersensitive to jokes about you.
No, my
And
man.
please don't take offense. I'm just
Let me make an example. If you let's say you've been diagnosed as bipolar, right? And then someone makes a joke about bipolar people, how would you feel?
obviously I wouldn't take it as moto or normally. It will kind of offend me, but sometimes you have to laugh at yourself. Like, for example, black people, we go through a lot. We're all black here. We've been through a lot. We're still going through a lot.
You see, the danger is for you to say we are all black here. But there are some people who might look at them as if they are black, but they don't live blackness. And those two are different.
Sure.
Those two things are like Lady Zama. When you look at Lady Zama, she's black, right?
Yeah, she looks black.
But she had said it with her mouth. She says she doesn't know a black person.
Doesn't know a black person.
Let's talk about the ones that are live in blackness. Like there's jokes that.
No. I'm just saying if when you say you want to make a joke about black people, right?
Yeah.
And that joke might reflect badly on people who live blackness, because living blackness is not nice. It's a burden to be black in this world, not in this country, in this world. So there are some jokes. Yes, we laugh at them, but when you sit down and think about them, you realize, yes.
Like, for instance, if you have to joke about sexuality, my everyday struggle is that as a lesbian woman, I'm criticized for how I'm intimate with my partner. It is believed that it's not romantic because how can two women? It is believed that I'm not getting pleasure from my relationships. So when you make, and this is my daily struggle, and it's my daily struggle is that I have to defend that no, this is a real relationship with real feelings. So when you come back and you make a joke about it, it does hit, because this is my daily struggle. It's like you're making a joke with someone also every day, and you make a joke about it, not realizing how heavy it is on the other person. It's not that we are hypersensitive. Maybe yes, if we are, it's because constantly we are dealing with battles that you don't even know about. You know, it's not just about the comment or the joke. It's bigger than that. It's like a rape joke. You can't do a rape joke. You can't do a racial joke. Recently at work, my colleague used to have a joke. She used to say to me, Jesse, like, and I picked up good, no man. Every day, farki. Where is this going? You know, are we still joking, or are you like that mentally? So because you could be wrapped up in your own belief system, Muguti, black people are pigs, and you're okay with those jokes because it is within you, Muguti, we are pigs. And until I was like, honey, I don't appreciate your jokes. I've reached a point whereby I can no longer laugh at this, because I'm not sure if Guti, you are playing or you are being real with me every time. Maybe you get it from home.
You can't joke about something that has been a slur.
Yeah, you can't.
Guys, you know,
You really can't.
I feel like
wait till again. I just read something.
Imagine
just
going to
happened
your
to
office
me.
every day and they make black jokes. You're going to start asking yourself, okay, are we still joking? Because a joke, one thing, a song.
Yeah.
So if I'm not laughing and feeling like, then something is wrong.
Yeah. See what I just went through right now. I shared the same sentiment there. The community is hypersensitive. But while you guys were talking, I was thinking about it. There hasn't been a joke that I laughed at. A racial joke that I laugh at is it's being made by a person that I know has been through the same thing. You think we would laugh at a white person that made a kafir joke? We wouldn't laugh at that. But if it's a black person, then it's fine because we know he relates.
Yeah.
So I just thought about it now. I was like, which white comedian has ever made a joke like that and I laughed with him? And there's none. I only laugh at racial jokes that are made by black comedians because I know they can relate. So I just thought about it now.
So would it be acceptable? For the community, the LGBTQI community, if a gay or lesbian comedian made gay lesbian jokes?
No. Not necessarily. Because sometimes you must remember our understanding. Just because I'm gay doesn't mean good my understanding. And in some jokes, you might be perpetuating hate. You might think it's a joke, but to the person sitting at home listening, they might be thinking, "Guti, yeah, vele, tamele, riba."
Yeah.
You know.
But also within the community also, don't take the community as a homogeneous group.
Yeah, sure.
We are not
Yeah.
a homogeneous group. There's classism as well.
Sure.
There's racism as well.
Yeah,
sure.
There's patriarchy, right? There's misogyny within, right?
Yeah.
Within
Within the
They are black,
LGBTIQ.
they are white, and
Yeah, there are queer people who are white.
Yeah.
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 There are white people. There are queer people whose class is higher than ours, right?
Sure.
And then if someone who lives in Sandton, even though they are lesbian, and say something about people who live in Soweto, I'll clap them.
Sure.
I'll
We
clap
are
them.
coming for you.
Sure. I get you.
Yeah. But I think we are saying the same thing, because now I only laugh at people I think at some point went through that. Like if I look at you and I'm like, you don't know that life, you can't make a joke about that life.
Way.
Yeah.
Worrying.
Worrying.
We don't laugh at people, we laugh with people.
Yeah.
So we need to laugh together to know what's okay, it's a safe space.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
once you start laughing and someone is taking offense, then we need to check where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
We will learn, we will educate, because some messages you can't, there's certain messages we can carry for the community that would hit better if they're coming from us.
A good example is that are you consider yourself as heterosexual?
Yes.
So you consider yourself as heterosexual,
Yes.
and therefore you cannot use words like leitabane les.
Yeah.
You can't, because if it comes from you,
Yeah.
it does not come right.
Sure.
It's only us that can call ourselves
Yeah.
leitabane.
Sure, I agree. Just like black Americans, Barry, a white person can't say nigger to me, but I can use nigger
Yes.
as a black American. I get you.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Now we are
Thank
going
you
through an
for having
awakening.
us.
We are going through, because this is our first Pride.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and luckily the power, this Kim Sarona from the event business. So when he was on the podcast, we did an episode with Marco Palitling, and it was a while back, and he thought we'd roll a ball.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. Like I
Okay,
said,
thank you.
don't stop.
Yeah.
Some of us are not strong enough, but we'll remind you that you are, and we'll
Sure.
carry you.
Thank you.
Sharp,
Sure.
sharp.
Thank you so
It's
much
been a
for
pleasure.
having us.
Sharp,
Thank
sharp.
you.
Enjoy the rest of the day, the event. Sure.
Oh, yeah. Jay.
All right.
It is good to have you back.
Thank you. I was here, Moose.
But you were here informal. You were
now
not
Farid.
supposed to be there.
Yeah. All right. I'm so sorry. But I'm here.
So, Karu Wile le Mwing, reintroduce it to Mwing. Agaru Wile le Stephanie. Introduce us to Stephanie. Introduce the people to Stephanie.
All right, we're back. Another segment with Madam the DJ, right? I got it right.
Yes.
What genre of music do you play?
I play soul and R&B and a little bit of Afro pop.
A bit of Afro pop. I saw you doing your thing and you.
Oh, the drag performance.
What's it?
How perform? The rest of the podcast. So, here podcast.
Hey, I get married. Yeah, Hogela.
Yeah.
Good was watches.
Oh, le to introduce.
I did.
Wait, kana ke DJ le ne. So ne kana hanga rota.
I hate. I gotta get DJ. Let me get DJ.
Ah,
So I
oui,
hate. It's the
but-
thing. It's the thing.
No.
What's Madam the DJ?
Yes.
I think I've seen your face online, ne?
Yeah.
And ha ke lebella mo eventing e re le mo yona e. You seem like quite a well-known individual, ne?
Yes.
Can you tell us why you're so well known? And like you've been taking pictures with people.
No, actually, I came out of the closet very early. This is about kids more Rustenburg. Because
Very early.
yes,
What's
like-
very early?
Okay. getting by 16 years, I started going out, Kilo Groover. That's when Batu Babona Hore Kimotofing, like I was different. Hore Pila. Actually, I was gay. Right now, I'm not gay. I get this word LGBTI. Now I'm on the T word.
What's the T?
It's transgender.
Okay. For people like me. What's a transgender?
Oh, transgender is somebody who is who was born pila not into caring. Also saying ele sex wrong.
Okay.
Mare ene ho mo lebella ele ngwanyana mare di parts tsa gele tsa boshimane. Then I ended up ele gore ke tsaya di hormones. Di hormones ke tsone di ntšhentšhileng ke tšhentšhile that's why batho ba nrata ke tšhentšhile go na le dilo tse di tšhentšhileng mo the face, the body, voice. Mo pudding I tloga matselenyana like I do have boobs.
You have boobs. Let's see your boobs.
No, I can't.
Why? Why did you grow boobs?
Let's see your dick.
No, why? What
the fuck?
See?
Because I only have one private part. One. How many do you have? Private.
No, I have one. I have to go and do sex exchange actually.
So
you have to.
I have to because of I'm on the hormones, so I have to. It's a must. Yes.
So when o jampile le gore okay, physically ke out marent like I'm a girl. I don't know if ke be listen.
Ke jumpile this wa go ke jumpile dio tse dintsi maybe ka bo 16 and 17 ke bona gore mare pila motho ke leng ene ha ke ene pila ke ngwanyana ke moshimane.
At what age? Like
Why transgender? Why didn't you just become gay?
What?
Why didn't you just be gay?
No, I can't. Gays are gays. Trans are trans. Lesbian are lesbians.
so when now like I just want to what
I can mara ke mmela yone straight gore di lesbian ke di lesbian.
And go a thusa ka re go batho ba tsang ba bantsi so go bela ene pile ba ba lebeletse ba
lesbian ke di lesbian go na le di lesbian tse leng gore di wela under T le bone ke di transgender ba ileng gore le bone ba tsaya di hormones tse le dira gore matsela a bona boele dira gore ba tswe diteng ba tlhaloganya voice ya change
And then grow.
o tshentse a learn sex exchange.
It doesn't grow. Hormones.
No,
Doesn't make it grow.
so I do the
operation I do because of gona le gore di tsayang teng di please straight in Joburg. Yeah, so I do because of how patele le please sele ho di patele. How di tsaka prescription is 200 and something. Yeah,
Kira the sex change procedure.
no barisa for mala barisa maybe tla kere ya ka job shimangani if ba isa ra go teng bophelong.
Oh, okay.
why is like batlo kwa tlo achieve ang usaka no exor do askis how do you want us to address you ausi
Mike.
Hey,
Ausi
Ausi.
Madam, I thought Madam the DJ.
Kerata face le kafala.
No, like you gotta excuse my ignorance. Like I'll take us.
yeah
Hey,
So I'm trying to understand all of this.
Exactly.
I'm not judging you in any way. Don't feel like I'm judging.
Hey,
yeah
Like even if you just go check us, no.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm trying to understand. You
and
understand?
that's the whole purpose yeah podcast ron
okay.
not just only Rona trying to learn, but ratlo assista le majita le machira o kasi
Akukasi ya.
gore
Batho ba
re bue in their language ba
Like it's okay to cut it out. If you don't need it, it's okay to cut it out.
So what I'm trying to do is or potso ke bayang ke gore for the ignorant mother or grandmother who's probably gonna listen or watch this podcast, I like go tlhaloganya like what is the moment that Madam
the DJ.
Stephanie realized for and like no man king no bona eng or no fila eng or like what was going through you, because one of us here might might have a son or daughter.
Yes.
They're gonna go through what you're going through. So
Okay.
when it does happen, re tlhaloganye, re sa nna confused and angry and judging our own children.
Yes.
Re kgone go tlhaloganya gore what are they going through, like wena, what is your experience, what is that moment, what did you go through gore o jambe gore ntse like ha ke a o tipela bila ke tshiri wa o boneng o fitse eng wa tlhaloganya ke sore bua make
Ka go
sense.
tlhaloganya.
Ufitse eng, that's what I'm more interested. What did ufitse eng?
When in your thing.
Because you have to
Ke fitse ke reng ke bone ke fitse gore ke dilo tsotlhe ke bone the way ke go leng ka teng ne ke tlala le banyana ke tlala ka dimpopo ne re ga mama ntheketse koloi ka ithuba
Why? Ga ba tlo reka koloi?
like koloi ne le tsa bashimane by then bathong yo so ne re ga go tlaliwa ka dimpopo ke nna o ene ke batla go nna mama teng wa ban so irile ga ke hantse ke gola bo 10 years nyana bo wa itse ya nomba re express that thing ya gore ya no batla o jola nyana o batla tlhaloganya gore
What does pizza?
ya no even na gore ga ke tsana mo situation eo ke ga ke bona gape gore why ke filela for bashimane ba bang that's when ke bona gore okay friend ke bua pila ke gala bashimane
So o arabilegile Bafana?
no o nkarabile mara ga ka kolova.
Okay.
Mare it's fine. This thing is a journey.
tlanne o tlhaloga re
From me to you, I'm asking now.
okay
Do you think we still need 2021 right now, right?
Yeah.
Do we still need this awareness? Like, do we still need to do all of this for people to understand what type of person you are?
yes we still need to do this because of gona le bana ba sambele ba tswa kere ba ileng gore they are gays, they are lesbians, so re try go dira this awareness to batsadi le bo abuta rona bonna ke ba tlhaloganya gore re batho ba bantseng. Now unfortunately I was lucky because of mama company ke na le 6 years pila they saw ke sana le bothata le go come out batsadi ba ka ba ntshwere sentle the way ke tsile ke tsana ke apere fela yana kunku ban rekela di underwear tsa banyana ke apara underwear ya bashimane. I'm sorry ke apara
Victoria's Secret.
Wait. I'm gonna ask a very stupid question. We fika ya We fika ya. Right now, currently, your current status, we fika ya.
but gona le ntshwe hati re bitsa rona ka language ya rona ra re tswape so ka itswapetsa
Yeah.
since e hai ke hai this guy
So, hi, so. How one out
how una
Offense again.
okay fine
Plus na
ha ke bona offense
That's a good look.
okay
like
ha ke bona offense nna ge ke no di hormones ha etso mara ka feel
Okay.
so ha ile motho o ileng gore okay ya ka ba ntse ke go tlhalosetsa ka bona ya tsoga nna e thibela fela ke di hormones cell di bula everything like
Hey, the guy sister batho ba bantsi. Ka fela ga monna tswa fela re hormone. Ai drinking kwa buke go Zimbabwe ya we fela.
yo don't kill me okay
I'm done. I don't want to pot this. I want to pot anymore.
Mara ki bua maka.
I'll be back
So music o tenele mon. Cause it's kana o tshwantsho.
Music-
Na kana dile sa tago so ke batla re plug le go roa.
a bua nnete le ba bantse ba le kwa di-DJ tse dingwe they never knew gore I can play the other genre e ne ke tlala nna ba maketse le nna I was surprised because of every time ha ke tsa set ke etsa during the week ke a utlwella gore a mme e ka tsosa batho wa bona mara nna ke simolotse ke le a track performance the way ke go lelang ka teng ke simolotse ke etsa lip singing ka King 2015 go Joburg ka Miss Gay Soweto. I was Miss Gay Soweto by then. So ne ke fa o mong crown e bantare how fa o mong crown you have to perform for us. And okay, fine, ke tla try it. Maybe the whole week ke lena ke why you go lena mafokwale
Emabelo, why Olena? Because you're not even singing, you're lip syncing.
yes
It's like
who lip
Why?
singers is answer how ai e bona le mongwe
I watch it.
Yeah.
Wait, we thought wow, pela ka nnete. Go na le ponte.
Yeah, it's an art.
It's an
alone.
art.
Eh.
Zama wa ha re tswa fa
so
mo fem mai.
o sentse o we ithuta mafoko a teng gore a re motho until
Yeah.
a fetsa wa bona
Sure.
so ka 2017 ke ga ke simolla ke ba rare ke bua le bashimane ba mo Rustenburg ba di DJ ke ba rare ke rata solo so ke batla go try go dlala somewhere ke utlwa gore nka irang ke traile go mo le dithero go tlhabane then e be ke bona gore go fa ke a itse mos then ke na le 5 years ke 5 years gona ke le solo na R&B DJ ya ka for Northwest this why ba itse ba botlhe
Nice.
man, that's awesome, man. We good.
I'm good. Stephen uru tsusitsa wait.
No, that was dope.
You made it lighter.
Right.
Ene re sipolo tsaka wena o wena o re tsaka mo mmutu.
I get it. How about le hanne ba letsa house? So I was like, no, these people baske ba tsana pele. Since go tsana nna pele ke bankanye situation ke fiele pele.
Yeah.
It's like a brain for me.
Sure.
Yeah, re explain out video wait. Na ka re EFF o ka re bana ba rata di
Hey, kitchen, yeah. No, my mother was a kitchen.
Outfit e pila rekile e le gore ne ke na le gona le group engwe gate SAT Divas re track sa go Joburg so re three run SAT ne le nna ile S ke Stephanie
Okay.
even na Alex even na TB so e re ke SAT Divas so ne re ka diaparo like o tlebe go te gona le Miss K Josie rana gana gore re ka etsang
Sure.
re apare outfit e feng so e be re ka yone so today ke gone ke tlang ka yone mo le se batho ba imakalletse gore a ke re ga nke ba ya bo Joburg le bone ba la eh
ga ba di judge. Ba di judge. So ha re tsere ba tlo go buka.
oh if le batlo mbuka check out mo Facebook Stephanie Ntekile Gari and then gona le holo e nngwe gape mo Facebook ke Madam the DJ Instagram ke Legari Stephanie Twitter ke @Legari Stephanie then my phone number is 073 845 748
How's somebody store come?
Yo, or
Outside the phone number.
yo lesa di tsatleng lesa yo ba phela ba
Re tla i bleep.
ba phela ba ntshwenya le bile ba ntshwenya
Ha editor ta.
ba phela ba ntshwenya batho ba Rustenburg ba lapisa le ba Joburg
Man, thank you so much for talking
Thank
to
you
us.
very much.
You just made everything lighter for us because we were talking about serious
And
stuff.
not that before it was a bad thing.
Hey.
Swantse re nne le
Yeah.
sat sai vala satish.
o nne masinyana
Thank you.
No,
Once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Well,
DJ.
we have to thank you twice. Thank you for the performance and thank you
Thank
for talking to us.
Ke a leboga le
All right. Wow. Okay, this was like an awesome experience today, man. I learned a
Yeah.
lot.
You know what we should do?
Did you learn that
Did I learn that one?
you are cisgender?
Cisgender.
All right.
It's cis with CIS. They sing SIS because
I thought so I thought SIS.
when I'm offer to you are embarrassing us. Hey guys, due to the rain constraints, I'm joking. We just had a ball and
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Colorful,
I learned a lot today, bro.
Yeah. It was a fun pod. It was a fun pod.
It was fun pod.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up right now. Yeah, man, we good.
I'm good. Are you good?
I'm straight.
No, I'm not. I'm cis.
I'm
I'm cisgender.
cis, nigga.
I'm cisgender. So
Alright, tell everybody that Rooks, JT, and Authentic Podcast too. Sis everywhere.
Sis everywhere.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Yeah. Shit. Gang. Yo. What's up? Yeah. Let's run up. Yeah. Shout at your feet.